So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Ask YP Now live show. Now, this is a show focusing on positive living, your work-life balance, living with passion, success in life and business, and most important, how to make the world a better place. And tonight, we've got a special guest that's joining us all the way from Malaysia, isn't it, Samantha? Right, Kuala Lumpur. Okay, woohoo! Okay. So, by the way, I'm still Malaysian, right? So, Samantha, would you want to say a few words to introduce yourself? So,
Hi
Samantha.
everyone. Hi, thanks YP for inviting me up on this great Ask YP Now show. Um, so I'm a business owner. So I own multiple businesses in Malaysia. To say, I have a manufacturing arm. I own a franchise. I have some other businesses that are in repair related, plastic injection molding related. So quite a lot of things like, and then a
Wow.
digital agency and all those. So here and there.
So
So
Samantha, yeah. So I'm gonna ask you, among all those businesses that you mentioned, which is the biggest of them all?
I would think it would be the manufacturing because
Okay.
the revenue runs a bit higher compared to other businesses.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would think that the manufacturing is the biggest one. Yeah.
Okay. So tell us a bit more about your manufacturing business. Okay. Tell us a bit more about the size, if you can. What's your outreach and so on.
So basically, we're manufacturing of plastic. So basically, it's not the plastic that you think like plastic bottles and all those. They are mainly engineering plastics. So the one that
Okay.
goes into your car, goes onto your mouse, that fix on your laptops. So those are the plastic ones, and even electrical appliances. So we work with some multinational companies as well. We supply to them. So we actually produce the like say the casing, and then we produce it to like the aircon vents of a
Okay.
car, that kind. Yeah. So our reach are basically I would say we sell to Japan, Germany,
Mhm.
Australia. We have
Wow.
like some customer base in Australia as well. So ideally, I was hoping to actually reach USA. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's not hopefully, knowing you, okay, and the effort and the networking that you do, it will be a matter of time, right?
Hopefully.
No,
we're
hopefully, no,
working
hopefully for
we're
you, okay?
working on it. We're
You
working
got
on
to
it.
make it
Like
a
this
reality, okay?
this
Right.
this year we are working on getting a lot more social media and also strategy onto the US context. And this is my very first time, in fact, to go all the way that far. So after analyzing, the strategies and all those, we realized that, oh, this is actually quite a good market for us to explore.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I think there's an elephant in the room. You know what's the elephant in the room? People are asking, hey, Samantha, you got such a big business, you're running a global business. Why do you need so many other businesses?
And then I want to ask back, why do you do so many businesses as well?
Polo, busybody. No. My turn to ask you. Why do you want to do that? Yeah.
So basically, I think it compensates each other. I have a bigger vision. Um, I wanted it to grow even more globally in a holistic manner. So the business that I built around this is actually part and parcel of each other. So I
Okay.
didn't jump off too far, but it's actually part of my verticals. Hopefully,
Hmm.
one day, if I were to get big enough for public listing, we would be able to list the whole group.
Oh,
So,
wow.
so under the arm, there will be some HR. Like I have a recruitment agency license in Malaysia.
Okay.
So that will be one of the arm who actually supplies, the people. And I mean that's vision lah. Like, and then for plastic, my manufacturing, I was always hoping on a sustainable portion of it. Meaning to say that I hope that my plastics would actually be more of a recycled plastics
Hmm.
engineering portion. So we actually have another vertical that are all more on a collection of recycled plastics. So I want to make it like a very circular economy, they call it, in my entire group. And then we also have another pillar who exports like water taps to
Okay.
across the third world countries. So that particular vertical, I actually hope to give very good water to
Mm-hmm.
the third world country lah. Because
Okay.
most of the time the plastic tap is my first clean water source. and I am very proud of it, being one of the, a product owner of even though it's just a plastic taps. Yeah, for me, I think I'm
What is it?
actually.
Can you talk a bit more into it? How does plastic tap give you clean water?
Okay, so if you see, naturally, if let's say you don't have, we sell to country who doesn't even have proper water sanitary.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm,
when there is a proper water sanitation in a developed country, so developing country, or suddenly they want to, develop this small little suburb, what they do is they would build, a water treatment plant where they treat the
mm-hmm,
water. Let's say the source is from the river, and
mm-hmm.
what outflows to the water would be the water meters, and then it will be the taps, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that will be the first sign of civilization, I would say, like proper
Okay.
civilizations and urbanizations and modernizations. Systems, toilet sanitaries are the first very, very
Mm-hmm,
important for
mm-hmm.
all this modernization. So even though it's not to say that, oh, that particular tap, innovate anything, but it basically
Okay.
signifies, there is civilizations and, modernization in that particular small little city that they started with water, clean water
Mm.
treatments available for them. Yeah,
I suppose it symbolizes having a easy and direct source of clean water, isn't it?
correct.
Yeah.
Because you can turn on and off. Because other than that, they will actually have to go to a well and pick the
Okay.
water, and they
Mm.
use the water. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
they still do. I mean, until now, I visit some of the suburbs, they still do that. Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
And what you do is so smart, Samantha, because what you're sharing is that these are all different verticals, but they are under the same sort of umbrella where they support each other, isn't it? So I was thinking, like some of the huge companies that we are familiar with, if you think about some of the Korean companies, they call them chaebols, okay? So this is just a consortium or conglomerate, isn't it? Like they got the financing, they got the manufacturing, they got the distribution. Yeah, everything
Yeah.
is under the same umbrella. Wow.
Yeah, actually, I think when I took over the business from my dad, it was just manufacturing. And then there
Okay.
was a lot of divisions that I wanted to do. However, I find that in a way, right, I want to make it very passionate for me. As in like
Okay.
whatever that I do for each businesses, because I didn't take over the business sort of by choice. I mean, like it's like an inheritance kind of thing. So I have to like learn to love the business actually,
Okay.
because it's like a total different thing from what I do or what I study, and that kind of thing. So I want to put in something very meaningful to the business that I get very excited to go to work,
Okay.
for a bigger vision, And it took me a good few years for me to find a direction. Why am I
Okay.
doing this? If not, I don't see any purpose of why I want to do this. Even though I'm selling like plastic taps, it seems a very normal thing. But I want to put a meaning to it, to the organization as well. So that everybody that's working for it, they knew that, oh, this is for something and there's this for some purposes, which is way greater than, just making money. Lah. And I
Mm.
feel that motivates me more compared
Okay.
to just the business to business and transactional deals lah. To me, I think that gave me more empowerment. Yeah.
Okay. So does your company have something like a vision statement, or if you're asked to share your vision in like one sentence, what would that one sentence be? Yeah.
So our company is actually moving towards sustainability. So our
Okay.
current vision, our actually trademark for our company entire business is sustainable polymer designer.
Okay.
So revolves around plastics, and then we are
Mm.
a sustainable company, and we
Mm.
design. So we actually build and create new stuff for a better living for all our businesses, all our
Mm.
business verticals, and also we wanted to create something that is more positive for
Okay.
our businesses. So our tagline, our trademark is always a reminder for us, like we always have to design, we always want to be
Mm.
sustainable, and it's something related to plastics. It's still revolving around plastics. Yeah.
Okay. So you talk about the word about designing, innovation, and relevance to humanity and society. Okay. So what is that one product that that you have personally handled that excites you the most?
Actually, there's so many.
Got to choose one. Got to choose one. Yeah.
I would say some of the case studies that we have would be designing for some of the so recently we're working on a project on electrical appliances. Actually, it's like electrical fitting. And I get very excited when the owner want to buy in like recycle material, and they trust us in like engineering the the how good it is, the strength of the products, even though it's using recycled material. And I really like it. And I like the way that we give them suggestion and they take it. I think that gives us a lot more motivation to rather than they tell us, okay lah, we want a lower cost, that kind of thing. But when we tell them we can justify with a lower cost, when if you choose to use a recycled material or even ocean recycled plastics, it gives us more meaning and give them more meaning. So and we love it lah, basically.
I think with sustainability being important focus for many companies and industries, being part of a sustainable movement, I think for your clients would actually give them a competitive advantage, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it is. It does give them that thing, and they can promote it in that way as well. Recently also we have an insect repellent company that we really want to pitch in and tell them that, hey, actually you don't really need a virgin material. As like fresh material for your insect repellent container, you see, because after all you don't drink from the you don't drink from the insect repellent. So we really wanted to pitch all this in, and then we can even give them the aesthetic look that it looks more recycled, it looks more recycled, and more authentic, and we really hope that the management could buy in lah. And then moving forward, we are hoping that one of the verticals will take on to being able to collect back all this. Yeah, the collection portion. Yeah. So
I think it's if you think about clothing, some of the brand names, better not mention them here. Some of the brand names are actually having recycle in their shops, isn't it? You can bring back actually not only their brand but other brands also.
Correct.
To give back. Some with exchange, some with no exchange. Value.
Some they give you vouchers. There's some they give you discounts. Which whatever effort that we're talking about here, I think it means something. Even though somebody will say, "Oh, this is such a small effort," you see. But to me as a whole, it is something more meaningful for every corporate to move forward for. Yeah.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are joining us, those of you who are listening to the recording, we have here today with us this evening, Miss Samantha Chee. She's from KL. Am I right to say KL? KL, Malaysia. Yeah, okay, KL, Malaysia. She is what she claims. She's a self-proclaimed serial entrepreneur. Okay, she runs multiple businesses, right? And her main focus is to manufacturing, plastic manufacturing or polymer manufacturing, but her USP is that she does things in a very sustainable way. So, she just introduced herself, and I'm now going to all the tough questions. So, are you ready, Samantha?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first series of the tough question is that I'm sure running a business is not smooth sailing all the time, right? What are some of the challenges that you faced, and not only how do you overcome them? What was the mindset you need to have to be able to overcome challenges? Yeah.
Well, I think the pandemic actually did impact us a lot because we have 2 lockdowns that we're unable to operate with very, very high costs. So those were the time that I find that it's kind of struggling. So I have to be very mentally strong. Basically, it's not about more on the strategy because you can't do much. You are stuck, right? There was a background. I think I hear some background noise. Oh, okay. It's good now. Yeah. Okay. So basically, I think that's where I find that it's more... it's coming in again. Okay. I better ignore it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I think the challenge will be recently, the currency exchange getting crazy. And actually, many people didn't know that manufacturing runs on a very, very low margin. I'm not sure whether you are aware of it.
No.
It is. Yeah, it is. We are running on a very, very low margin. Especially you are engineering for other people. So the costs are actually most of the time being pinched. So a lot of strength and a lot of focus was done on cutting costs and staying very lean. So I think throughout this pandemic also, I did grew a lot more into how to lean up the entire business, like making some very crude decisions and very, I would say, some very bold decisions to cut down and lean down. I think that was the most challenging part, and staying very positive is very important to me, because so many things are happening around in almost the same time, you see. And if you were to let your mind loose, you will just literally tell everybody, okay, let's just,
give up.
give up, and just literally just wind down the company, and just let go everybody. That was a very easy choice out. Basically, it's an easy way to do it, because I've seen a lot of businesses, they will say, okay, if it's not continuing profit making, then just, stop it. And that. But however, this is a 30-year running company. So there's a lot of people who think that, so what does that mean with a 30-year running company? It means a lot in terms of the culture, the value, and the branding. And another thing is also in terms of bank finances, right? You look way stronger when you're a 3-year-old company than a 30-year-old company. So I think that actually gave us some chance to get better finances as well. Let's say we stay on, and that's how we overcome it. Most of the things is, I think it's fast reaction on the volatility. Like, it's very volatile, and how your management can actually react really fast. Yeah.
I think one of the key words in this pandemic people learn is nimble, how to be nimble. React fast. Huh?
Yeah, nimble is like to like.
No, not to nibble, but to nimble, like a gazelle. Nimble, very fast.
Oh, okay. To jump, to actually move very fast.
Nimble, yeah.
Okay, I thought it was nibble.
Okay. So we're always thinking about food, Malaysians, Okay, it's being nimble, being fast, yeah. Because the old saying is that, big eats small, but the new saying is that fast eats slow.
Correct.
So there are many smaller companies with smaller setups. So because they react fast, they survive the crisis, because they can react. They're not like a huge, aircraft carrier that cannot turn on, right?
Correct. It's true. I think I learned a lot during this pandemic. I think it grows me a lot as well as a business owner, and making decisions as well. Yeah.
Okay. So you said that, to stay mentally strong. So the word that comes to my mind is resilience. Okay. So what were the strategies that you used, or what had helped you to have this mental resilience to be able to, withstand these pressures of
Let me tell you a story. Actually, I didn't know that I went through some mild depression during the pandemic. I actually was not aware of that. But suddenly my body was showing up a lot of signs. I know my skin was perfectly fine until that I have eczemas. And the strange thing about it is, like, I do not want to take care of it. There was this rebellious voice inside you who tell you that not doing it. I'm not going to do anything about it. Until that in the midst of like ending of the pandemic, I sort of realized that it's a spiral down. So I find that my it's getting worse and worse. And that's where I suddenly find help from external sources. So I actually went out to look for help, because I knew. So actually, I am the person, I think, I do meditation, and I do a lot of like, health wellness kind of thing. But somehow or other, when I was trapped in that spiral downwards, I can't move myself out from it, and I need external help. And thank God that I knew that I need external help. So I reach out to other people. And when I reach out to other people, people gave me a hand, in terms of nutrition. I think that was the most important thing that I was lacking all along. That's why my body was showing some sign. And combo with the nutrition, that was the mindset part, which I think the nutritionist did. So I sort of found a nutritionist who is like very into health and also into mind wellnesses. So she actually mentioned to me that you can't. There was this third word that she kept telling me. Even though you think that you're thinking positive, you are not. So you watch what you are thinking to yourself. So that was word of
Wow.
reminder that reminded me, because
Mm.
I always tell people that I'm thinking positive. I'm actually thinking positive, but actually there was this very back voice that I sort of looked down on myself, like it was a back talk, and when she told me that, right, I just realized that I was a huge light bulb, that was like, hey, it's true. Why I was doing this is because that back talking, including like, I have to be very frugal in my finance, that kind of thing. Those were things that were telling myself that I'm not good enough. So
Mm.
I actually also have a session with, I'm not sure, a session with Dan. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was quite surprised with that particular thing as well. I did some transformation, and
Mm.
it was a occurrence of a very young childhood thingy that he uncovered lah, sort of uncovered. So I'm very glad that all this happened almost at the same time, that helped me understand that, oh, I actually need like a way lot more help. Even though many people will see that, yeah, you're okay lah, very positive one lah, you always meditate
Mm.
and everything, you're good. But actually, I was not. So
Mm.
yeah, I'm very glad that those help came in, and then of course the
Okay.
family supports and everything, and actually then slowly I changed. You see, I changed the perception. I changed the way I talk to myself, and surprisingly, a lot of things change along the way.
Okay.
Yeah, surprisingly, along the way, a lot of things change. There are more opportunities comes in, and maybe it's also the ending of the pandemic already. So a lot more things, when I see it on a negative tone, then everything becomes very an obstacle and resistance. But when I see in a positive light, and minus off all the self-talking, I think that where it's time for me to like, it gives me a lot more opportunity to shine lah, basically, or close a
Mm.
deal, sign a contract, that kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So thanks, Samantha. This is really, really powerful sharing. What I got out of the last couple of minutes, it's basically three things, right? So the first thing is that awareness. For anything to change, you got to have awareness first. So you're aware that something is not right, and then you went to seek something external. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening in, of course you're listening in because you're listening in.
Right
Okay,
here.
the key thing is that you got to be awareness. You got to be aware what the issues are, then you can tackle it. Then the second thing, you went external, right? So all of us in life need coaches, because sometimes we are so trapped, correct? In our own issues, that we can't see what the issues are. So
Correct.
having a coach that guide us, because they can help us with the roadmap, that's so important, right? And the third
Yes.
thing that you shared is that people around you helping, family, and other people that reach out to you. And the third thing, I guess, is the community, isn't it? Having a positive and supportive community around you. Okay, so these are three, I would say, gems or nuggets that I picked up from what you just shared.
You're very good in like picking up all the nuggets.
Well, one of my secret to success is to learn from other people. Yep. So I'm
I think
always
that's
looking for nuggets. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So no, I wanted to share more nuggets. Okay. Traditionally the wisdom that people give is that, yeah, focus on one thing, focus on one business. Why go and do so many businesses? You need to be focused in order to be successful. So what is your answer to that statement? Okay, you need to be focused on one thing to be successful.
Actually, the questions that you asked me, I really want to ask back you. You see, I wonder how to answer. So I should have
Okay, I tell
another
you what,
live
you
show
answer
with
first
you.
and then you can ask me back. Okay, right. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I think it depends on people. Okay, I analyzed this question for the longest time because I always am those people who wants to have my plate very full. And part of it is probably because some of the so this is something that I uncovered from Dan's session, where
Okay.
they told me that it's because that I wanted to show some. So there was this smaller me who wanted to show something more. That's why I
Mhm,
wanted to do a lot more to show people that I'm actually strong. So that was
mhm,
something that I realized. But after the realization, even still, I realized that I'm those person who cannot do just one thing.
Okay.
So I easily get bored. So I will have to divert my attention to some other things. And that fills me up in that sense. So I'm not sure whether and I somehow I find that I cannot let it go and let time pass by, because if I let go one of them, I knew that I will never pick it up anymore. Just like my sustainable business. So it was something that I have to put myself into the situation where somebody pushes me. So I actually uses external force to push me as well, because I myself cannot be managing so many things. So I want to put myself into a system where they can actually help me to go to my goals. So I do not know whether you understand how I think lah, but it's like, let's say I want to be sustainable, I will put myself into a sustainable group where probably I hold a position there. And even though that I know that, I may not be able to do too much, but I'm still in the community, because I do not want to be disconnected and, I put it aside for a very, very long time. When I were to pick it up again, it's like all from ground zero. So, and for me, I actually leverage a lot on networking. I use my network to the advantage to gather a lot more information faster, to make some crucial decisions in my business. That's why sometimes it seems like, I have to like focus on one, but concurrently it actually is the same decisions that help the other business as well. So I think that's my answer. It wouldn't be the best answer, I guess. So I actually want to ask YB, what is your answer?
I mean, but that's the real you, okay? So I guess, if you'd ask me about the same question, why do I do so many things, or why do I do the things I do? So I suppose, in the earlier days, it's because you want to have the traditional, like you want to have time and financial freedom, you want to get to your, to be able to do whatever you want as fast as you want. Okay, so that was my drive then. However, as you grow older, okay, then you find your values change. Okay, so right now I feel that there's so many issues in the world that I want to be able to have an impact on. So like I was sharing with you earlier on, I've got a business that's involved with mental health, because with the pandemic, there's a lot of people suffering from depression and anxiety, and especially in the community I work with in the Philippines, a lot of people cannot afford. They can't even afford a doctor already. What more go and see a psychiatrist, a psychologist, and also especially with the stigma. Asian countries, nobody wants to let their family members know that they got mental issues. Okay, right. So all this is causing people to become even worse and worse, and to use their words, to spiral down. So I want to make a difference. Right?
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
I think it's very similar to what I'm like moving forward as well. It's like sometimes I find that, hey, my time is short, so I really want to use the fullest of my time to achieve what I want, even though I may not get there. At least I've done something. I would say.
Right. So I see a lot of similarities there. The other thing is I collaborate a lot. So I seem to be doing a lot of things, but I'm not the solopreneur or the solo person doing it. I've got teams, I outsource, I got partners, and as the saying go, one person cannot eat the whole cake one night. So the more people you share, then you can have more different variety, more different flavors. So in every business I go to, I've got partners, and the keyword now is the old model of trying to change the world is go and beg people for money. In the old days they go around whatever association, hey, can you donate? That's the old model. And that's a very painful model, okay? Right. So the new model nowadays is what they call social entrepreneurship. So for example, the mental health thing I'm involved in, it is a business. I'm starting a business. But the focus of the business is also to be able to contribute to the community, So it's not like enriching one or two persons. It's to be able to be sustainable, and take care of itself, And this is what drives me, okay? Right.
Actually, never thought that we would actually ended up in this conversation, because I thought that we're going to talk about more on like my B2B marketing, that kind of thing. And it actually ended up more on like the sustainable thing. And it is the same reason why I was so attached, and I want to force myself to put in all the sustainable portion to it, because I find that it's a greater sense and mission to it. And it's like in a whole, you actually impact more people rather than just one or two individuals that solve the problem. So I always want to stuff that thing like into the business
Okay.
to make sure that it has this component of social entrepreneurship. Yeah, I mean, circular economy is part of social entrepreneurship. Yeah.
I think many of the big business, could I not say big, the famous business owners in the world, they all have got their pet project or pet campaign, to do good to humanity, isn't it?
Yeah,
Right?
for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned something about B2B. Maybe you want to just share quickly about what's the B2B thing that you're mentioning about.
Well, but basically, it's because I have been in the B2B space for quite some time. Like all the while when I start business, I was more focused on like getting how to tap the doors of the business. So then somehow a way I find that among my peers, I'm actually one of those people who actually did pretty well. In terms of like my social media scene, how I actually lead people to come into my business and how they inquire. Like basically last time I used to, cold call, right? Knock on the people's door, ask them. And then literally what end up would be price war, or your relationship with your business would be supplier and customer. That's it. I'm always a supplier. So anything I'm wrong, anything it's my fault. Anything it's, my cost. Everything is me. So I really don't like the relationship. And somehow or other, I managed to walk out of this kind of relationship because I was able to position myself more in the industry as I wouldn't say a higher authority, but it was more on something where people see me. And when people see me, they actually be able to ask me questions. So actually you have Ask YP Live, right? I actually have a session called Ask Sam where they ask me about all the plastic questions about like how the injection, how a mouse is made, how do you know what plastic is used, that kind of thing. So all the knowledge is there. So and I'm very excited if let's say they connect me through YouTube and they ask me like technical questions. Because they view my YouTube video where I explain about the plastics. So that's where I suddenly built that kind of like, I wouldn't say suddenly, but it just gave me the authority in that industry where people can ask me questions, and that changes the entire business bonding with other people. They called me because they wanted me to help rather than, oh, you are the supplier, so now you want to listen to me and now you want to quote me the lowest price, right? But right now it's like more of like, hey, can I collaborate? Can I understand more about your business? How can you help me? That kind of thing. So I sort of like this kind of partnership relationship rather than just supply and customers. And it's where I built one going to launch my course, so have to stay tuned on my Facebook page. See whether I'm going to launch a free course, a very free mini course, to actually give you the G's about B2B marketing. Yeah.
Okay, so on cue. Okay, so that's the take a picture of it. Take a picture of it. See whether I can get. Oh no, I can't. Can I just give me a second? Okay, see whether I can.
You could.
Yeah,
I can't.
Can you type in a can you type in a comment on your side? Can you or can you not?
I can't.
You can't. Okay, I'm just.
I can help you to.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, those of you who are watching, take out your handphone and do the standard thing. Copy that. Yeah.
Yeah, you can just go to Facebook and search for I am Samantha Chee. Then you get me. Yeah.
See whether I can see if this is coming up. No, it's different. Okay. Right. Okay. Good. So Samantha, we're coming up to we slightly past the half an hour mark. That's good.
Sorry.
If there's somebody who wants to start, they're running a business and they start thinking to do multiple business, what tips would you give them? Okay.
Would it be very funny? I tell them, right, to just focus with one.
That would be a bit of irony, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So actually, if let's say you want to run a multiple business, I would say that is the why you wanted to run it, in this kind of multiple way. It's that means there must be a why that you want to do that. So it's very important that you have that strong why that you want to run the business. And in for me, starting a business, I do not like duplicacy. Is that the right word? Means I do not want to copy and duplicate, and I always want to innovate and have something newer, in terms of that. So it would be more of also a sustainable concept, because you do not want to repeat what other people have already done. So
Okay.
yeah, because you're literally using back the same resources and building the same thing, which I definitely against. So in my business, sometimes people ask me, hey, can you I just want exactly the same product that fella is doing. I want the mold, I want it done. To me, I will just reject outright. The reason why is because I find it so meaningless for you to do that. If let's say you can't even innovate anything on top of it, why do you want to repeat the thing? So
Mm.
so these are the things that I always think, if let's say I were to have a business, like to have another business, it would be something that fill a very important gap in the society, has a very important mission. Yeah, then only I will plunge all out, like go full
Okay.
out. Yeah.
So it's mission driven. Yeah. And I still want to go back to your earlier sharing. So you're saying that you build many verticals and they complement each other. You know.
Mm.
So I remember, both of us, we belong in this organization called BNI, correct?
Yeah.
And we always say that, one thing as a business owner, you got always think, what is your customer's need or what is your client's need? As Candice would say, what's your client's need? If there's something that your client need that is complementary or is associated to the product or service you give, then this is something you can venture in because you're not spreading yourself too thin, correct?
Correct.
It's your same client, but you're giving them more solutions, meaning that your client don't need to go and see somebody else to get a solution. You're going to build more loyalty. Okay, so that would be my take. Yeah.
Yeah. And you mentioned about Candice, and it's like high touch, right? You give all the
Yeah.
high touch to the customers so that
Yeah.
people get to get all the solutions from one place, and that's probably you, right? Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay, so thank you so much, Samantha. Don't run yet. I'm just going to introduce the next week's speaker. Okay,
Oh.
no, it's not here, but just the topic. Okay, so
Oh,
right,
okay.
so next week, this show is here every time 7 p.m. Malaysian time, Singapore time, Hong Kong time, Manila time, and every week we're gonna have a different guest on the show. So next week we're gonna have Daniel. Okay, Daniel Hammond, and he's from the US. Okay, I think he's from Austin, Texas side, and he is very focused on developing customer-driven leadership. Okay, how can you be a leader in your business at the same time looking after the customer and keep the balance between yourself and your clients' needs? Okay, and this is an amazing person like you. Okay, he's also very focused. Okay, he's very focused into helping people, and he's gone and lived years in South America to help communities, build like wells and and do things, So he actually go and physically, drop his business, go there and help communities, and he's now back in the US. Okay, and he's working with some people to have projects to bring up. I would use the word conscious leaders. Leaders who can do business and yet very conscious about the environment and the people they serve. Okay, right. Haha, okay. So for those of you who are joining us for the first time, I've got a little gift for you.
Wow. Gift
Oops.
from YP.
Okay. So yeah, so if you've not already got this book, download, from here, your free ebook, 10 proven strategies to work less, earn more. And why do I focus on people, working less, earning more? Because I'm creating a community. I'm creating a community of 10,000 people who work less and more. Can you imagine all of us, we work less and more? We've got all the resources, we've got all the time, and together we go and make the world a better place. Okay, give you a high five. Woohoo! Okay, so with this, we thank you so much for spending your time with us, whether it's in the morning, afternoon, and evening. And we wish you all the best for the rest of your day. Okay, right.
Thank you, YP.
Fantastic.